Well, good Monday, everybody. Check it out. Live view from this is our camera that's on the spire of the National World War I Museum and Memorial. It's a beautiful camera. You can see how sharp it is. There's some steam that's coming in on the bottom, so you're seeing that. But wow, what a pretty night over Kansas City. And it's been windy, and fall is moving in. So we've got colder air that is sliding in pretty much as we speak. We're going to feel that tomorrow. And we've got 30s in the forecast for the first time in a long time. It's been a long time since we've been in the 30s. But we're going to get there this week. Two systems I'm tracking for rain possibilities in this forecast as well. So let's get you set with everything you need to know. All right. Here's a setup. And if you're wondering, why is it so windy? Today was windy. Tomorrow, I think, is actually going to be more windy than today. And it's because we had this front come through. And between what drives a front is an area of low pressure. That's to our north. It's a pretty strong area of low pressure that's up by the Great Lakes. And then there's a big high to our southwest over there by Denver. And where you have a difference in pressure is where you're going to have your wind. And we've got this big channel of wind that you can really see with the purple that's coming through. And those are 40-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts, which we're going to have in the metro in Kansas City tomorrow. All right, so three things to know is, first off that, get ready for a windy day with gusts up to 40 miles per hour on our Tuesday. And because the wind is coming from the north, that's pulling in the cold air from the north. In fact, we've got the coldest weather since April on the way, and some of us might even get some frost. I haven't talked about that in a long time either. We're watching Friday. That's our next rain chance, so we're first warning Friday. If you've got plans, this is a day that we need to watch and track this system, and every single day that it comes in, we're going to have new information to share with you. And there's, some scenarios and some possibilities. This one's not cut and dry that, hey, we will have rain on Friday, but there's a system nearby, and it could bring us a couple different options. So we'll go through that. So we're going to watch Friday. Let's start here with the wind gusts, and it's going to be dying down for us overnight tonight. Still, a little bit of a breeze, but tolerable, 15, 20 mile per hour top winds. It's not sustained. This is your gust. So these are the stiff bursts that come. So there's 2 o'clock in the morning. So I don't think it's going to be like, keeping us up with the house creaking and moaning and all that kind of stuff. But by tomorrow morning, that's 10 o'clock, and she's back. 35, 40 mile per hour wind gusts. I don't think right at daybreak, but probably 9, 10 o'clock is where the worst of the wind will be for tomorrow. But it's going to be windy all day long. So watch as we go into 4 or 5 o'clock. It's still about a 30 mile per hour wind gust. So the morning's more windy than the afternoon, but the afternoon still isn't calm. So 63. We're about 10 degrees cooler tomorrow than we were today, and we've got a fall feel. It's pretty. Today we had clear, crystal clear blue skies, and tomorrow's going to be the same. Really, really nice. But then the bottom drops out. And we get 30s coming in. Now, tomorrow morning's you're 46. So it's kind of crisp for Tuesday morning. But by Tuesday night and Wednesday morning and then Thursday morning, that's where we're in the upper 30s. We haven't been that cool since April 15. The last time that we had mid-30s was in mid-April, so like 6 months ago. And that's for Kansas City. If you hit 36, then you can have frost develop. So we might get our first frost of the season. I think that that's going to be more common north of Kansas City, or the better chance for it. But it's not impossible that some of our areas that are outside and away from the city that'll be a little bit cooler could drop down, and we see some patchy frost. There's just patchy frost is possible on our Wednesday and Thursday morning. Now let's talk rain. All right, so with nothing but blue skies on Tuesday, Wednesday, and most of Thursday. Thursday, we'll start to see clouds build in the afternoon ahead of the next system. It's a pretty broad, big system that's developing. So by Friday, we're at 50% rain chances. We're first warning. This is a day that has a reasonable shot right now of bringing some impacts from rain. So let's show you a couple of the scenarios. Here's scenario one. This is a kind of stretched out system that brings a raw day, which would be cloudy, it would be breezy, it would be light rain, it would be off and on, kind of misty, drizzly, light rain throughout the day. We wouldn't get a lot of rain out of it. It'd be a tenth or two, but just not very nice outside. So that's one scenario that we're seeing from one of our computer forecasts. And generally, a little bit more organized south of I-70 than north of I-70. And we see that with the second scenario too. But the second scenario is a stronger system. It's more compact. It is still to our south, and the trend today has been to our south. So that's pulled a lot of the, like how much rain we could get out of this. It's pulled it down. Now, yesterday, it looked like we were in the core of the thing. So this thing hasn't even developed yet. So we're going to see this kind of bounce around. But the idea of a stronger system would be one that we have to watch, where that could bring some, meaningful rain on the order of a couple inches of rain. Like heavy rain would be possible with that kind of system. The question then would be, where does it go? Well, as I mentioned today, the trend is farther to the south. So in Kansas City, you'd still be looking at, quarter of an inch, something like that. But some of us south in that yellow zone, that would be 2 to 3 inches of rain, and then still lighter to the north. So all that to say, Friday, messy, complex. There's a bunch of different ways that this one could play out, and we just have to wait and track the trends every day. But be just thinking about that. Wouldn't cancel plans yet. I wouldn't do anything like that. I would just be aware that you might have something to tangle with for what you've got going on Friday. Okay, then the weekend comes in. Saturday, there's the Making Strides walk against breast cancer, and that's for the American Cancer Society. So a big walk there, one of many events going on Saturday. And there's still a chance that we have some leftovers from Friday's system. It's not completely out of our hair yet. I don't think it would be much if we get anything. There's a chance that we're all wrapped up by Friday, or Saturday rather, and there's no rain at all on Saturday. But we're not 100% sure of that, about 70% sure of that. So there's still a shot for some patchy light rain. Whatever, Saturday right now does not look like it's going to be anything that would cancel your plans. Sunday's probably the better weekend day. We are dry. Both days are going to be cloudy to mostly cloudy. I don't think it's like a beautiful weekend. But Sunday's also more breezy. We're going to have a fairly steady wind again. The wind is going to start to be a bigger thing now that we're in the fall season. We're going to get these systems to come by that kick up the wind. Sunday does look windy, but otherwise right now looks pretty good. Then we get into our next rainmaker, which is on Monday, which is Monday Night Football for the Chiefs against the Commanders. And we've got this game at Arrowhead that could be on the wet side. Let me show you this one. All right, there's Monday, getting into the afternoon and evening, and both of our long-term computer forecasts right now, the long rangers, the ones that we look at every day, every meteorologist will look at these things. Both of them have wet weather coming in on Monday, and quite a lot of it. Now, it's a long way out, and a lot can and will change between now and Monday. But whenever I see both of them pointing to that, and it's a fairly strong rain signal, and they're in agreement, that's pretty good confidence that we'll have something at least in our neighborhood around that time. So we'll watch that one for you, but Monday is at risk of being a wet evening out at Arrowhead. Okay, there's camera view right now, and things are quiet. It's cooling down quickly. The front is through, and now that chilly air from the north is starting to spill in. So we're at 60 in KC, but we're already in the mid-50s just north. So there's about a 10-degree spread from northern counties to our southern counties. And then as we go into the overnight hours, watch us fall from the 50s into the 40s, 46 by about 7 o'clock in the morning. So imagine, you're in the 40s, but you also have that wind. So there's going to be a little bite to the air on our Tuesday morning. And then we'll be in the 50s for much the rest of the morning, and then 60s for the afternoon, but low 60s at that. There's sunshine throughout tomorrow afternoon, and your sustained wind, 20 to 25. That's what it's constantly pushing at. And a 20-mile-per-hour wind is pretty windy, and then you may double that with the gusts. And then highs a little bit below normal. Normal is 66. We go to 63 in Kansas City, 50s to the north. Cool day. Awesome, though. Wednesday, Thursday. Like, if you're liking this fall weather, Wednesday and Thursday, lighter winds, sunshine, like Wednesday's perfect. Just a great-looking day. And then Friday, 59. That's with the clouds and the rain around. The weekend, again, it's probably a little bit better on Sunday, though a little bit more breezy. Low 60s. Our nights are going to warm back up into the 50s there. And then Monday coming in right now at 67 ahead of that next system. But behind that system, it would be another big cool down if it tracks out the way that it's looking right now. So there's the latest, everyone. It's cold outside. Danica, feels good. I love it. Let's see, what else do we have? Lindsay, will the rain hang around Saturday? I'm hosting an event that's outside in the Lacine area. No. In fact, here, if you give me just a second, I'll pull up Saturday. Sorry, we switched cameras, so I'm looking at our old camera, and then our new camera's there. So if you're wondering why am I looking goofy, here, hang with me just a second, and I'll show you what Saturday looks like. Just have to edit one of my graphics real quick. All right. So you get to see kind of how we do this. I'll take us to Saturday. Let's go 5 a.m. for a start time. And we'll go to 11 p.m. So you get to see the whole day. And now I get to pick which computer forecast I'd like to look at. So we've got our two main workhorses that are our long-range ones. And I'll show you both. All right. Okay, here's number one. There's 5 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, we've got the system left over from Friday. It's patchy, but it's moving out. All right, so there's 7. That's why I've got a rain chance on Saturday. There's still some backside stuff. That's not a terribly strong rain signal, but, and you're looking for Lacine, so let's not do that zoom. Okay, so there you go. A little bit of morning rain around. You probably do have a better chance south than north, and then there comes the afternoon, and the whole thing's gone by the afternoon, so it's sliding away. That's one of our long-range forecasts, computer forecasts. Here, let's show you the other one. And there it is. Got still some leftovers in the morning. That one's a little farther to the north. A little bit more stubborn with that back building trying to come into the evening. So, this one I don't tend to trust as well. Let's see if I can show you the old one. The reason why I say that is this one doesn't have all the, like, we launch weather balloons twice a day, and those get fed into the weather models, and then halfway between those twice a day periods, the computers will update without fresh weather balloon data. And they kind of guess what's happened between the morning when they got their information from the weather balloons to what's going on now. It's what we call interpolation. And when that happens, this stuff gets funky in the long range. So this is one of these intermediate runs, model runs, and they don't tend to be as reliable. The one I looked at earlier, so this just came out not too long ago, from this same computer forecast, but the one that had the weather balloons in it, that information, it had Saturday not looking wet. And I think that if we see anything, it'd be in the morning. The first scenario that I showed you makes sense to me, where we have some patchy morning showers in a spot or two, and then they move out for the afternoon and evening. So that's the way it looks to me. I hope that helps answer your question. Austin, how is winter looking for us this year? A lot like last year. So we have a La Nina that is setting up, though it's a little bit sooner this year than last year. And what a La Nina can do is bring you, they typically are a little bit warmer than normal on the whole, but they bring you intense cold snaps. So you get strong systems, but brief. So if you look at like winter 2025 to 2026, the idea would be generally it was a little warmer than normal, but you will have memorable cold snaps that don't last all that long, and then you make up for them as it warms back up. And snow can go either way. You can have like last year where we had a blizzard, and some of the driest, least snowy winters on record are in La Nina years, and then some of our biggest snows are in La Nina years. So it's kind of tough to predict, but just generally it looks a lot like last summer, or last winter rather. Are there any storms possible? Monday's system could have some storms with it. I'll have to watch that one. So a week from today. But I don't think Friday's system's going to have a whole lot as far as storms. No severe risk right now, officially. Okay. All right, everybody. That's the latest on my end. We're going to have new stuff coming up at 10. So I'll see you on KCTV5 at 10. In the meantime, have a good night. Hope this was helpful. We got a couple things to track for you, and some weather's changing. It's getting chilly. So take care. Have a good night.